The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us on this Monday. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher.
This morning, California is bracing for another monster storm as it prepares to wall up most of the state.
It's already wreaked havoc on areas north of us, but the worst could be on its way. Up in Sacramento, heavy winds pummeled the area on Saturday. But today's another story, and Governor Gavin Newsom's urging everyone to stand ready as this storm prepares to make its way in. Capitol correspondent Etan Wallace has more.
Well, Newsom's message to Californians is clear. Be alert, be ready, and stay home if you can. Now he's asking the White House for help.
Don't test fate.
Governor Gavin Newsom sending that message to Californians today, all as the state is set to get hit by powerful storms after a week when it saw deadly flooding and strong winds powerful enough to knock over trees and power poles. Looking ahead.
So it's really important that people are mindful and, again, just use their common sense.
Some stressing the state has already deployed swift water rescue teams, sandbags, and has a flood operations center to monitor flood hazards. But he makes clear California may need help from the federal government. He announced he soon will ask the White House to declare a federal emergency, something he says will make it easier for the state and federal governments to cut red tape and get resources where they need to go.
We know what's coming, and in anticipating that, we're better off getting ahead of it as it relates to this request than waiting for the actual event to occur.
A weather event state officials urge their fellow Californians to take seriously.
I just want to ensure that folks are being vigilant about what they do and the decisions that they make. And if you are asked to evacuate, please, please heed those instructions.
Stay safe, stay dry, and stay home. If you don't have to be traveling during peak periods of the storm, please don't. Mother Nature is full of surprises. So it's clear that we have to be ready.
And as of the last update from Cal OES late this afternoon, more than 400,000 Californians are without power. They urge you to have an extra pair of batteries and food and water. Not only, they say, will that help you ride out the storm, but it could save lives. Reporting here at Cal OES headquarters near Sacramento, Etan Wallace, 17 News.
Grim news this morning as we learn more children here in Kern County are dying than in previous years. The issues outlined by the county's child death review team. During the last 5 years, accidental death among Kern's youngest population has increased 86%. Natural death among Kern residents 18 and younger increased 80%, according to a study by the team. And suicide is up 60%. Although the percentage increases are large, raw numbers are less dramatic. A total of 49 0 to 17-year-olds died in 2017 in Kern County. 66 died in 2021. The report covers 5 years, 2017 to 2021, and the deaths of 265 young people. The report does not reflect the full impact of the fentanyl epidemic. The numbers are in a report that will be presented to the Board of Supervisors tomorrow.
Well, you could call it a candy crush in northwest Bakersfield after a car barrels through doors on Friday night. Take a look at the scene. It happened at the shop on Callaway Drive, and you can see a driver crashing into the building near one of the party rooms. It wasn't clear what caused the driver to lose control, and it did not appear anyone was hurt.
5:06 is your time now. A fundraiser drew hundreds of people to Beach Park in Bakersfield. Its goal to send back the body of a man who was killed while changing his tire last month. And they're sending his body back to Peru. 17's Marco Torres reports.
Beach Park in Bakersfield was bustling with hundreds of people, from playing soccer to eating authentic Peruvian food. The Union of Peruvian Clubs gathered people together to raise money to send the body of Edivio Hinestrosa Inga back to Peru.
He always wanted to go back to his hometown. That was his dream. Sadly, he doesn't get to do that, but we know how much he talked about being back there. And he did always mention he always wanted to be buried where he was born.
Inga was killed on a foggy day while changing a tire in northwest Bakersfield on December 26th. A preliminary investigation indicates that Inga had stopped on the side of the road to change a tire on his gardening vehicle, and an SUV then collided into the truck. Police say speed and the foggy conditions may have been a factor in the collision.
He came here 14 years ago. He worked all his years here as a gardener.
The fundraiser hosted a soccer tournament for teams full of all ages to compete. Many of the soccer players said it was an honor to play during the event and in memory of Inga.
Just seeing everyone here and like playing and helping someone in need, so it feels amazing.
Helping people in need, it's always been like this. When like something happens to someone, we all help each other.
The organization needs to raise about $13,000 to $14,000 to send Inga back to his hometown in Peru to have him buried. From Beach Park, Marco Torres, 17 News.
Today, President Biden will take part in a trilateral summit in Mexico City. Immigration is front and center, and President Biden visited the southern border for the first time yesterday. NBC's Bree Jackson is in Washington with more.
President Biden getting a first-hand look at the U.S.-Mexico border Sunday, inspecting the border wall amid criticism from Republicans who blame him for the record number of migrants crossing it.
Because Republicans haven't been serious about this at all. Come on. They haven't been serious about this.
The president also facing one of his biggest critics, Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Abbott handing Mr. Biden a scathing letter demanding that his administration do more to secure the border.
He should have been down here from day one to fix the problem that he created.
The president's trip comes just days after his administration announced a new plan to accept 30,000 migrants a month and expel those who show up to the border unauthorized.
We have surged resources to address a challenge that is not unique to the southern border of the United States. It's a challenge that is really gripping our entire hemisphere.
The president is also calling on Congress to pass comprehensive immigration reform, something lawmakers have failed to do for more than 2 decades.
We need a system for those who want to come to America for economic reasons, for bettering their lives, contributing to our economy, for them to do that in a way that is legal.
They think this is a political challenge, not a policy challenge.
Immigration is among the top issue on the agenda today as President Biden meets with North American leaders for a 2-day summit in Mexico City. As part of the summit in Mexico City, President Biden will meet with the Mexican president and the Canadian Prime Minister. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
17 Health Watch this morning, and if you're not participating in Dry January, you may want to consider starting now. That's because serious alcohol-related liver disease is on the rise in young Americans, especially women. Death rates from cirrhosis and severe liver disease have risen slowly in the past decade and then spiked sharply during the pandemic. Researchers say women are getting the worst of it, seeing a 37% increase in deaths connected to alcohol-related liver diseases since 2017. But men saw a significant rise as well. Their mortality rate went up 29% during the same time. Medical experts say younger patients have a good chance of complete liver recovery if they stop drinking altogether.
Well, there is good news this morning as Damar Hamlin shares a photo of himself from his hospital bed. Shows him sitting up in his hospital bed and rooting on his teammates less than a week after his cardiac arrest on the field. In the post, Hamlin wrote, "Game time." The image showed him with his hands together in a heart sign and wearing a number 3 hat and a Love for Damar shirt. Doctors say Damar has shown remarkable improvement since being admitted to the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. Great to see that update. You know, it was so shocking to see that, of course, that play in real time last Monday, a week ago today. It's been a long journey, but so glad to see that he's making, as doctors say, remarkable improvement.
Yeah, that's incredible.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.